Hey y'all, this was my fourth match in the regionals top 32 run, and spoiler alert, this was my first loss of the day. Start off by playing the Rebecca here. I'm going first, which is really nice. You'll kind of see how this game plays out. It's one of those games that's like semi-close, and I think there's a route that I could have won if I had prioritized my game plan a little better. Especially like getting to play on the first curve, it just like increases our chances of winning by quite a lot. My opponent's smart and he's countering out early so that he can't get too pressured down. We've kind of got the whole setup we want to see going on. Here he does take the life, the ramp. Swing 6 and we block and draw. And he's going to do some searching. Speed this game up a little bit. Now we're zooming. Yep, so here I swing 6 just to try to take some life. I play the Cavendish out. I remember very specifically really wishing this had been a Zoro, just to like keep up on the board a little bit. Obviously the way that we usually lose these matches is that they can go, 4, 7, 5. And here I do end up using a King Kong Gun's trigger. So I had one in my hand, and clearly I had 2 stages, so I got rid of both of those. And that was the reason why I ended up having to trigger that, even though the big part of my game plan against pLuffy was to set up having a bunch of King Kong guns at the end to get past the Gum Gum Giants. My hand was just so bricked up that I really felt like I had to use that trigger, and I think it did kind of hurt the game plan in the long run. So he does he kind of has his like perfect curve, but just off, Instead of going first, he's doing it going second. We get rid of a 3rd stage, so we've seen all 4 stages, but we were able to get rid of them all. Almost definitely we're going towards the character, I'm assuming, but either way he gave us a 2k. And then this is my Rebecca turn. So hopefully I have the Rebecca, counting cards in his hand. My opponent's being very patient with me, which I appreciate. I mentioned in my last video, but watching through these, I definitely feel like I can play a little slow at times. We didn't have the Rebecca here, which was a bummer, obviously. But we did take Kairos King Kong Gun. And I think here I might get rid of a 2nd King Kong Gun. I might. And if so, I definitely deserve to lose this game. Yeah, I get rid of the 2nd one there. And I even think, like, I'm pretty sure in this moment I have 2 Kairos in my hand. And I just was thinking like, oh, I'm gonna need these to pressure the board or do whatever. And this game definitely ends with me having a Kairos in my hand that I just never got to play. Because this is the turn I would have played him, right? Or am I incorrect? Okay. Yeah, so here we're just blockering up, which my opponent should be very excited about. Yeah, no, definitely didn't deserve the loss here, discarding that second King Kong gun. I'm guessing my hand, even after all of this, is still just very counter light, and so I felt like I needed to. It's definitely possible. But I think like this matchup is just so unfavored that really like King Kong gun across the board is your way to like win these unfavored matchups, and me intentionally getting rid of this one and on top of triggering the other one, it just creates a very difficult situation for me to win this game. So I believe what ends up happening is I only have one to try to finish, and he just has counter for that. So anyway, we're all blocked up. He's making his swings, and he's gonna make sure that he keeps his life total above. Because my hope there was that this turn I'd be able to King Kong gun while he was low on resources, but now he's at 3, so he's put me off of that play for at least one turn. I'm giving him counter here for the 5k swing. I show him it was Rebecca. It's going to do some thinking. Swing 6 into Cavendish, I believe. Oh no, life. Yeah, a lot of my opponents were smart in swinging at life for a good chunk of the day. They didn't want me to get too set up. Alrighty, at 9 now. And hoping that we have a turn that can... Hoping to have a turn that can turn this around, right? But I believe I still haven't seen a actual Rebecca, I believe. So I end up just Kairosing. We're also gonna chip away at his board here. Oh, it might also be at life. I don't remember. We'll find out. I've played enough pLuffy that I know that eventually those 2k counters run out. So sometimes it is just advantageous to swing at life with these 6k swings. But this one was at the Zoro and he 1k'd out. We've both got creatures on board at the moment that are giving us resources, so that's cool. It's kind of like keeping us both in this game in a similar way. Okay, see what happens here. Okay. Yeah, so this looks like a Kairos turn, but I'm gonna bounce back the 7-drop Luffy. And likely swing into Songoro. Oh, I did have the Rebecca, nice. So we just get to draw off that. Play out our Kairos. And... oh wow, okay. This is a pretty sick turn for us, right? We actually get to KO. Yeah. Oof. We get to KO, we get to bounce, and we get to swing. So we really just cleaned up the whole board here. He might give us 2-2Ks, yeah. He wants to keep the pressure on. Swing 5, and he gives me a 1K for that as well. Okay. My opponent here, I believe his play here really just keeps pushing me away from what my game plan. Because I'm feeling pretty good here, right? Like, I just got 5k counter out of hand. I killed his biggest threat and I bounced the other one back to his hand, and then he had to counter out with it, right? And my opponent was smart. He once again did not want himself to be at 2. So he's sitting at 3 at the moment. But he is getting a little light. His hand's getting a little lighter. Swing 6, and I end up taking it, which to me is pretty clear that I'm out of 2Ks at that point. I'm gonna tap down just something, but I think all these are going at face anyway. He wants to get me as low as he can. I'm a 2 and 1, or I counter out there just to get the cards in. Oh, okay. I'm gonna pause. Sorry. So there, even though they were 2 1Ks and it wasn't gonna get me out of the damage, I did it just to get my graveyard fuller for King Kong Gun, because that's my plan this turn. So we'll see how it goes. My opponent searched here, and he showed me a Usopp. So funnily enough, I think this turn I forget like when the Usopp happened, and I'm just like, I think I asked him literally like, is there an Usopp in your graveyard? But like it was like the last thing he did, so there's like no way it's there now. Yep, so I'm trying to figure out if there's a lethal line here. 6 is interesting. You know, like looking at it now, I'm kind of surprised I didn't go 7. Yeah, what an interesting set of plays. I guess I wasn't trying to go for game here originally. But once I made this first swing and he let it die, I just assumed he was really low on counter. And so I try to go for it, I believe. Which, you know, at this point I don't love that game plan. 3 cards in hand. I think like giving him that free swing at board and then switching to go in for life was just not ideal. Actually, pause again. I think the Kairos swing was actually towards the Sanji. And then I just look at the board and how few resources he has, and I realize that I can make swings at life here that might be lethal. But it's like way too late in this turn. Like I needed to have decided this much sooner and like thought through my lines better. Because like with him having 3 cards in hand and 3 cards on board, and I have all these threats and also King Kong Gun, there's just a multitude of ways I think I could have mathed lethal or near lethal at least. Like assuming he didn't have like, you know, all 2Ks or something. But instead, I've more or less wasted 2 swings in this game, or in this final turn. So now he is able to just kind of bait me into trying to go for lethal here. That's what he does. I assume if we can't do the 7, King Kong Gun, probably the Rebecca, and go for 10. Yep, 10 double strike. No idea if he has enough to get out of this at this point, but it's a pretty telegraphed play here that I'm just going to swing 10. So even if he has it now, he just takes it and waits for me to commit all the dawn. And then I just hope he doesn't have it, but he definitely has it here. I think he just shows me 3 2Ks, I mean. Or Nope, it was 2Ks and... Oh, yeah, dude, exactly. Okay. So, yeah. So obviously super notable that I just win if I attack life this turn, right? So, it's just like a learning thing for me where even in the moment, I just felt silly, like, oh my gosh, I just spent 2 swings at life for some reason. And not really, I wasn't thinking through like what I was actually doing for that turn. I just was kind of playing on vibes. So anyway, so this was my first loss, and it ended up being my only loss for a good while until like the very nearly end. So alright, well, I will upload the rest as well, and thanks for checking in. See you later.